This block right here. I like this building. And the stained glass. Emily's the one who started using the stained glass. And when she told me, hey, I want to start using some stained glass in some of these buildings, I was like, are you sure? I don't know if that would look good. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, she might not, like, just stick to some of the basics, like white, black, and gray. I didn't want any, like, funky colored glass, aside from the top floor of my building, of course. I didn't want, like, come across, like, pink windows or something. But I shouldn't have questioned Emily because she did a great job. Whenever she used stained glass, it actually looked great. And she picked her colors wisely. So I should not have questioned Emily. Emily, I'm sorry. There's no little park I did. I know it's not all that amazing, but I did a lot of them. I want to point them out. I feel like it was worth doing. Let's see. What else? Again, a lot of these buildings, the floors were completely redone and stuff like that, but I'm not going to point out every single thing. This is the other wooden building I did, or at least one of them where I used wood a lot, and signs. We should use signs and stuff like that more for decoration of the outside of the buildings, but we didn't. I think that's like one of the only buildings that we used something like that on. And that's one I did. This fountain right here. Very simple fountain. Nothing special. But it took all three of us to get it like this. I think somebody fixed it up once. I came through and fixed it up again. And my main contribution was this used to be 2 blocks lower. Like this fountain used to be down in the ground 2 blocks. And the fence too. The fencing was down low and it just looked really stupid. So I raised it up and made some changes. And then I think Emily came back through, or Javier, or one, and made changes again until we finally have what it is now. So, yeah, and I did that a lot to Emily, and that's one of the reasons she probably hates me as far as, like, being somebody to build with, is because she would do something, I'd be like, nope, that's not happening. And I'd go back and change it, and, yeah, that'd be very annoying. Somebody did that to me, but I didn't care. You know, I took the lead on this project from the start, and it was going to be done this way, or not at all, in my mind. So, yeah, I think the trees and stuff, another park area I did, tons of those. All right, next block. What we got? Nothing special in these buildings, I don't think. I don't remember doing anything for this building. Okay, yeah, I do, okay. Yeah, nothing really I want to show off in the buildings, at least, here, I don't think. Oh, there's some trapdoors. I don't know if it was already like that or if Emily did that, but because of the glowstone, I'm going to assume that one was already like that. But I don't remember seeing those previously, so, it's funny how I spent so many hours on this and I'm just now noticing that. But yeah, nothing in that particular block I need to point out. I mean, there's lots of grass, obviously, that wasn't there before. It used to be all just a cobbled area, and there's some bushes, and I think the most changed part of this block, or section, would be the beach. I think Emily built a dock out there, and then I built a volleyball net, I built a lifeguard stand, and a sandcastle. I did destroy, Emily built some, like, umbrellas and beach towels that were laying out here on the sand. And as you can see, the beach is iced over, so I didn't really think that was fitting.
Sorry, some random copyrighted music started playing in the background.
Forgot I was the only one logged in, and somebody else logged in and started playing music, so wasn't an ad, just somebody who wanted to throw a little party. The volleyball net here, I guess, technically they would have taken the net down for the winter, I guess, but I don't know, should I leave the net, or should I take it down? It's probably more appropriate if I just take it down and leave the poles there, right? I don't know. And it's, I guess, a little bit hypocritical, too, since I took the beach blankets out. But yeah, so the beach, though, is definitely probably the biggest change of that section. Now, let me fly over to the asylum real quick. Not really part of the block, but let me show it off. One of the things I did here was the asylum used to be full of iron doors with pressure plates in front of them that you would step on to open all the doors. It was incredibly annoying to try to navigate this area, because it's really tight already, and then every place you step, you would hit a trap door, and it's like constantly hitting one, tripping one. So I got rid of all those and just got rid of the doors, period, because this is like supposed to be like an abandoned asylum. So we don't really have any need for there to be the doors anyways. Another change I did is I redid the snow. I didn't just redo the snow for the asylum, I basically redid the snow for the entire outskirts of the city, which I'll get more into later. And the way I did the snow was, it's pretty much like if it was actually snow in Minecraft. If it's exposed, and it's not under like an overhang, like the blocks directly under this overhang aren't covered in snow, but the ones out from the overhang are. So if it's exposed, nothing over it, the block has got snow on it. Or of course, like if it's a half slab or stairs and I can't place snow on it, then it doesn't. But yeah, I had to redo the snow as well because it just was, it bugged me the fact that it wasn't completely covered. Just some of that, you know, OCD in me. Now where else do I need to go? I already been through that entire section, so I need to go this way. This is an area we haven't shown off yet. Before I get into the buildings in this section, the elevated highway here, all these like supports were redone by me and Emily. I think it was her idea to redo them because there were like sections of the bridge that were just floating. They didn't have supports, and it looked really odd considering other parts had supports. So we made supports throughout the entire thing. They're evenly spaced now, which they weren't prior. And I came up with the design, then we just, you know, we knocked that out together, I think. Added some bushes to this area. I don't remember who did this building, so I'm not going to take credit for it. This section right here, I think I did some work too. It was basically just a cobble little strip mall, which I changed to stone. I think Emily did this building, I believe. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Emily. I think Emily fixed up the parking lot here, probably. I'm at least going to give her credit for that. I don't know if... Oh, this right here. Handicap parking spot. This little bitty thing took like 3 of us. I think Emily started making a handicap spot, I think. Then I put the tracks there for the wheel of the chair. Javier came by and put the button there. 3 people to make that. It's pretty sad. This building right here is the only building that was completely built from the ground up just for this map and the revamp of it. There used to be a really ugly cobble building here, and Emily kind of wanted to just destroy it and get rid of it and just have it empty. And I just said, no, just leave it. I'll take it down and I'll replace it with something else. So I built a little diner called the Eat and Runs, because when you eat here, you're probably going to get the runs. It's nasty. It's a rundown place out off the side of town. Even the inside is dirty and filthy. Just not a good place to eat, but it's cheap, so, you know, maybe you want to try it out. You're on a budget. Even the plants around here are dying because the food's so bad. Let's see, where else do we need to go? It's the bank over there. Underneath the bank, one of the changes I made was, there used to be like a hidden vault full of, I think, iron and TNT. Don't know why the bank would have iron in it versus gold or diamonds, but it did, so I replaced the iron with gold, I think. And there were TNT laced everywhere. I don't know who did that originally. I'm going to guess Mac, just because, you know, Scotland-related project, and Mac is known for her use of TNT. So I'm going to guess it was Mac, but I could be wrong. I'm not blaming her. It's just, that would be my guess. But I got rid of all that TNT. It couldn't have been set off by anybody. It's not like the whole map was going to blow up if somebody had set it off. It was safe. But it just didn't need to be there, so I got rid of it. Little fish market. Kind of got a little bit of a facelift. Nothing special there. Underneath the road here, this used to be grass, I think, mostly, and cobble. And I got rid of it and made it coarse dirt, because you wouldn't have a bunch of grass growing down here. It's not getting any light, especially way back in here. So I just felt it was more appropriate to be just plain dirt. Redid this tunnel a little bit in certain areas to make it more uniform. You had multiple different block types. You didn't have the stair edges all the way around certain places and stuff like that. What else? This is the park. Now, there's a story behind this. I'm not picking on Emily when I tell the story. But when I got to the park and I was going to chest it, I made sure I chested it so that you had to parkour to get to everything. Everything was up in the trees. And I actually had a course laid out. There were like 2 courses of parkour you can go through collecting chests. And when I finished, I was done. I was not going to mess with it anymore. Emily came through and spammed bone meal throughout the park. And to me, the park should be well maintained. You wouldn't have high grass everywhere. So I didn't like that. But she also added trees. Now, considering that this was all tree-based parkour, if you just go around and plant trees in places, that's going to mess up the parkour. That's going to make it a lot easier and provide new pathways that I didn't intend. So I gotta be honest, I was kind of miffed when that happened, and she didn't realize she was, like, going to bother me by doing that. So it's not like I'm still mad at Emily or was really mad at her. I was just mad about the situation. Because what I ended up having to do is I basically took down every single tree and started from scratch, putting trees and redoing a new parkour course. There's actually 2 of them. You can parkour through this section here, then you can parkour through all these trees here. But yeah, that was not fun having to do it twice. Let's see, next block. I built a garbage truck. At one point I was considering building a lot of cars throughout this map, like going down the road and stuff like that. And eventually I was just getting tired of doing this and I didn't want to mess with it. And plus it's hard to find a bunch of cars that actually scale the same. Like I found other vehicles I would like, but they weren't the same scale as this garbage truck. I'd build a truck or something, like a regular pickup truck, and it'd be almost the same size as a garbage truck, and it's like, that's not right. So that was an issue, and I didn't want to have to sit there and try to rescale everything, so I was like, fuck it, we're going to have 1 car in the city, and it's going to be a garbage truck, because I don't want a dirty city. Here's the other parking garage. I said there was 3 of them. This is the 3rd. It's just like I said, different color sign, the corners, different colored accents. Other than that, the only difference is from the original is now they're stone instead of cobble. Let's see, the hospital. I know Emily made some changes too. I don't know exactly what. I think this used to maybe be glowstone or something, and she put lanterns there maybe. That might be one. And then I know she redid the pathways here where the ambulance would park and stuff. So yeah, she gets credit for that. I think I did a lot of the grass and this pathway maybe. I know it helped in this area some way. I just don't know details exactly what I did and what she did. There's another handicap spot. The trees. Yeah, I put some trees here. Not a big deal. I just felt like there should be a windbreak there because there's a basketball court. I hate a windy basketball court. I used to play outside all the time, the park. Used to bug me. The airport. Now, the airport I chested pretty heavy, compared to other buildings at least. Simply because, you can see, you have to run a long ways out in the open to get to it. And again, that makes you very exposed to the heroes, so if you're going to have somebody risk coming over to the airport, they should be rewarded. So there's like 5 or 6 chests. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On just the roof of the airport alone, there's a number of chests on and inside the airplane as well. Even down there on the plane, there's some in the tunnels. There's some inside the airport. And again, on top of the overhangs as well. So, a lot of chests here if you want to make the trip to come out here. And if this looks different to you, it should, because I basically redid the entire airport. You didn't have any, like, skylights in the roof, I don't think, when you looked at the old airport. There was glowstone everywhere. Oh my god, there was so much glowstone in the airport that I probably spent a good half hour just fucking breaking the glowstone. And there's still a ton of lighting in here. I could have broke a lot more and got rid of a lot more of the lighting, because this is probably like 10% of what was in this building, and it was insane. Go look at the video of the old airport sometime from where Zach maybe played Bat Night, and night and day difference to what it is now. The color of the airport is completely different. I forget what it was. prior. I think it was clay. It was clay. And it was really ugly. That much clay just did not go. It was not colored clay or anything like that. It was just regular, plain clay that was in Minecraft back in the day. So it just looked hideous. And this area up here you couldn't get to. There's only one character, or actually no, nobody could have got to this. Even Poison Ivy with her vines couldn't get to this part of the airport. So I had to build like a staircase just to make it to where people can get to it now. And you're going to find parts of this map that aren't places that every single character can get to. Some people like Poison Ivy can place vines and get to the top of a couple buildings that other players can't. There's Dr. Cold who can place ice blocks. So he'll build a pillar up to certain types of buildings that other people can't get to. And that's intentional. There's not a lot of areas like that, but there are maybe a half dozen places in the map that only those characters can get to. So there are certain rewards for being certain heroes and villains. So that's one of them. That over there, I didn't really change that a whole lot. That's, I guess, where the air traffic control is. I'm guessing that's what it was. I didn't build it. I think the only changes that might have been made by me were maybe fixing a hole in the wall, getting rid of maybe some glowstone or something simple like that, but that's it. I also went through like all the landscaping areas, even the wooded areas like way out over in that area. I went through the whole place fixing like little holes from like Endermen and stuff like that from where it was on Scotland, I think. And they're just really hideous landscape gaffes that didn't get fixed. And now, I think we're just going to go through all the actual landscaping now, since I think we've finished the tour of the city. And one thing that just took a while, a long time, because most of it was done by hand, is the snow. There was already some snow out in the wooded areas, but it was not like covering everything totally. And I used the same strategy I did for the asylum. If it's underneath like tree branches and leaves, there's no snow there. But there's snow over every single block that's exposed to the sky. So if you were to just type the snow command into the game and made it snow, that's how the coverage is for this area. The only difference is most of it was done by hand. Oh, it's raining. Let's get that, yeah, that's weather clear. That's what it is. It's got the very simple command of, making it sunny. So, yeah, you may not believe me, but yeah, most of this was done by hand. Javier eventually world edited the top of the map because this is covered by barrier blocks. Most of this map you can't get rain in, and I'm going to have to check to make sure he's got this completely covered with barrier blocks now. He might have left a spot. But there is a small section here, or at least, not small section, maybe 70 by 70, I would guess, 100 by 100 at most, that he did world edit the top out of, and I just typed the snow command in and made it snow. But everything else, aside from this like little square right here, done by hand. Let's see, is there anything else on the outside areas that I need to talk about? Otherwise, we might be done. And the only thing left to do is, again, to bug Emily to maybe make her own video talking about the things that she did, and some of the things I might annoy her about. One of the things I just remembered that I did that was really annoying. This area out here had like random hills and blocks just floating or not connected to the ground, and it looked really lame. And I think it's from where, I don't know if it was Javier or somebody else, tried to take maybe the brush tool or some kind of world edit tool and make hills and mountains here, but it didn't look natural at all. It looked like somebody took a bucket at a beach, filled it with sand, just turned it over, made a whole bunch of little hills, which looked like buckets and stuff like that. So I cut it off right here, just made it even, and redid the wall with barrier blocks by hand. That was not a fun thing. I wasn't going to do it originally, but I got done with all these other projects, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'll do this last thing, and that's one of the last things to the map that I changed. Yeah, another thing I probably annoyed Emily with is she bone milled this area and a lot of other areas in the outside parts of the map. And yeah, I got rid of it. I placed the grass by hand because I don't like just tons of grass everywhere. I like it to be just scattered, especially since it's a snow area anyways. If there's grass there, you can't have snow. And I wanted it to look very desolate outside the city and very cold, and inside the city to look more warm and cleaned up and everything. Actually, it wouldn't have bothered me to have no snow anywhere out here, but the asylum is supposed to be covered in snow, and the ocean is all ice and everything. So it just made sense if this was all going to be snowed in, I might as well have everything outside the city be cold and desolate, and inside the city be warm and inviting. That was my strategy going into it. I think the only area that I basically allowed to stay bone mealed was this area right here. And even though I kind of allowed it to stay bone mealed because I went through and I broke a lot of it by hand and got rid of the flowers that were here. So some of it stayed, but most of the grass that she placed is gone. Now, I think that concludes our tour. I even went through and redid this area. A lot of this area with snow, hand placed it. Redid a lot of the trees that were broken up. Put a chest. This is the only chest you're going to find out in the woods. It's behind Tallman's grave here. So, oh, sorry. Maybe I should change that sign, but no, it should stay. That's very Scotland appropriate. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Sam City and how it was fixed up for the new release of Bat Night. Please go bug ECW on Twitter. I'll leave a link to her Twitter in the description below. Tell her to make a video showing off the things that she changed on Sam City, because she did a lot, and I'm doing her a disservice by not pointing out more of the stuff she did. But again, I can barely remember some of the stuff I did at this point. It's a month later, and 2.5 months from the point you're watching this video. So anyways, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching.
As always, guys, if you didn't get enough spin time for today, you can always click this annotation right here to watch my previous video. And remember, there's a brand new video here every single Monday. So until then, spin out.